Yes, you guys, welcome back. I'm Nini FC, this is Blue Lines TV, and today I'm here to bring you guys another News Daily video. Now for today's stories, we are going to focus entirely on transfer deadline day, the aftermath. We're going to discuss players that have still remained here surprisingly. We're going to speak about some deals that we've done, some deals that we've flopped as well, plus some more context and stories from transfer deadline day. So I hope you guys do enjoy. Before I get into things though, let me get one plug out of the way first. If you like today's videos, if you like the quality on this channel, if you like the content I've been bringing you guys over the past summer period, then I suggest you strongly smash that like button, help me get over 3,000 likes for today's video, and without wasting any more time, we start with the first story today, and that's in regards to a new goalkeeping signing that we announced earlier today. Now today, it was announced from France that we have just signed young, under-16 French international goalkeeper Sami, and yes, I know that I've absolutely butchered the surname. You guys know that pronunciation and this type of stuff just isn't really my forte, but this keeper has strong potential, big interest, and what's really interesting about this deal is that already at the age of 16 years old, he has already got first team minutes for the full Paris FC team. Now, Paris FC are a team in League 2 at this point in time. They are currently topping the table as well. So this really tells you everything you need to know about Sami's potential, his abilities, and just how highly rated he is. So for me, this is great business to do. It seems like we have concluded this deal set at around €1 million plus future clauses inserted in this deal as well. So, you know, for me, I'm still hoping to see that we can produce at least one quality goalkeeper. I think during this period, there is definitely potential now for some of these young guys to step up and make a name for themselves, especially when Kepa's form is terrible. And, you know, when Mendy, even though he looks like a great goalkeeper, you know, there's still potential to win a spot in this team as well. I think Sami could be the first young goalkeeper potentially we see in a long time that could finally do this and finally get some first team minutes. He seems promising, he seems exciting. And there you have it, you guys. That was the first story. We now move on to the second story. And that's in regards to Juan Castillo, because today it was confirmed that he is close to signing for AZ Alkmaar on loan. Now, when I first heard the story, I was pretty excited because AZ Alkmaar are a promising young team right now. They have some excellent individual young players, and you know, your Stengs players like your Vindals at left back too, Idrissi on left wing, and their young striker in Boadu. I'm sure I'm absolutely destroying his name as well. But AZ Alkmaar are a team on the rise, and I definitely think that this loan move suits the profile for Castillo. Now, the only stumbling block and the thing that kind of reduced that excitement is that AZ have signed Castillo to act as backup to the rather promising and, you know, potentially excellent left back in Owen Wijndal. So realistically, how much game time could Castillo get? Maybe more than I'm actually considering right now, because we know that Castillo is a versatile player. Maybe he can play further forward, maybe he can play on the opposite flank, he can play in midfield too, and as a number 10. So maybe I'm being a bit too pessimistic, but ideally, I guess I'd like to see him get some quality first team minutes, consistent first team minutes playing at left back. I'm going to remain hopeful. AZ's a good club, play good football, and I think that Castillo needs game time right now because he's like 20 years old. Let's see what he can do, and good luck to him. And for the final massive segment, you guys, we're going to finalize things by speaking about transfer deadline day. Now, there is literally like an infinite worth of stories right now. To start with the first one, let's break down Loftus and his loan move to Fulham. Now, to be honest, it took me a while to have to really process this loan move and this decision from Ruben, the club, to sign for Fulham. I was thinking a club like Fulham, who are the most favourite club to get relegated this season, is that a good match on profile for Ruben? I'm not too sure. And at the same time, Scott Parker and Fulham, they're not known for playing the best type of football either. I was very sceptical, but now I do feel a lot more assured by this loan move. The reality is that the club have decided that it's best for Ruben to get quality minutes. That's the main priority to help him get back to full speed. Now, it's been known about Ruben for a very long time is that he's one of those players that you have to give him an extended run of game time, at least like 5 to 7 games to find his form. But the reality is that with the competition in the team right now and with our ambitions as well, that just can't happen. So I guess this has forced him to have to go out on loan, where ideally he's playing for a club with, less pressure around him, where he can focus on getting his minutes back and maybe being a bit more individualistic to get back to full speeds. Now, the main reason why we should all feel very optimistic by this loan spell is due to the business in which this deal got concluded. Now, every time we loan out players, the clubs that want the players on loan, they have to fork out 100% of their wages. Did Fulham have to do this? Of course not, because Ruben's currently on 150 bags a week. That's a ton of money. We subsidise the wage bill because we're doing this for Ruben to get back to full speed, because he still has the manager's support and the club support as well. So I feel a lot more optimistic. I feel a lot more confident too. And I do think that this could be the best type of loan spell for Ruben, because again, he's not leaving his area. He's not travelling. Fulham and Stamford Bridge is literally like, 50 minutes apart. This is a good move, which is still going to keep him local. And I think this could work out for him. We now move on to Thomas Partey, because our potential move for him collapsed on deadline day. Now, there's context for this. There's a lot of reasons behind this. And the main reason was that we were not able to free up more funds by lowering the wage bill and selling off players. Now, one player in particular we were really hoping to sell was Antonio Rudiger. The club planned to actually sell Rudiger on a permanent deal after Rudiger rejected the possibility of signing that one-year extension. I understand that from the player's perspective and from the club's perspective. However, to announce that he's available on a permanent on deadline day, it meant that the possibility of selling the player was going to be very, very low. Our gamble backfired, because clubs like Milan and Barca, etc., in the end, they didn't have to sign a centre-back. And when it came to your West Hams and your Spurs, Rudiger actually rejected the possibility to sign for both clubs. So once that happened, it meant that Rudiger was going absolutely nowhere, and it meant that we couldn't raise the funds we needed to pay for Partey's release clause. Because something does tell me that if it was us and Arsenal, and both clubs are obviously paying the release clause, then something tells me that Partey would pick us over Arsenal every single day of the week. It's literally a no-brainer. But sometimes this is the reality of leaving your business till late. Relying on fate, it means that circumstances work against you, and to be honest, I'm not particularly disappointed that we couldn't sign Partey. I think he's a good player. I do like him. However, I feel like we can target better, and instead of just forcing signings, let's target the very best possible ones we can get by remaining patient. So that was why the move failed, you guys. We now continue on, and I want to speak about Rudiger and his failed moves away on transfer deadline day. Now, I gave you guys a bit of context in regards to, how his failed move away stopped us from signing your Parteys, but the reality is, one of the main reasons as to why Rudiger especially was not interested in signing for Spurs was due to the man's integrity and his loyalty to the fans. Rudiger easily could have signed for Spurs, remained in London, playing first team football for, a big club in London that could, honestly boost his opportunities to play first team football for his national team. He put that all down due to the fact that he doesn't want to affect his loyalty with the fans. So I can rate that, I can commend that. This could be a gamble that could potentially backfire though, because again, remember, the Euros is happening next year's summer. Players have to be playing consistently, and if Rudiger is going to remain here being the 5th choice centre-back, I don't see how it's going to help his chances of getting international football. I guess the only saving grace is that the January window is only 3 months away. I guess Rudiger and other players will have to wait for that window. But now you guys move on to other stories. We now move on to Tomori, because it came out last night that he actually turned down signing for West Ham on loan literally in the final 10 minutes of deadline day. Now, the main reason for that is because Tomori believes in his own source. Big, thick energy, you guys. That's what it's about right now. Tomori wants to stay and fight for his first team spot. Now, logically, I can understand this. He knows that Lampard has shown him a lot of support. And of course, we know that Lampard ideally prefer for Rudiger to leave and Tomori to remain. So, things don't become any different. Just because Rudiger's still here doesn't mean that he now becomes like an automatic, 4th, 3rd or 2nd choice option. It don't work like that. So for Tomori right now, it's best to work alongside, potential teammates that you could be working with over the years. This tells Lampard that you have the confidence in yourself, you're ready, and of course you are ready to contribute to the team and bring something for us. I think that his recent cameos for us for the start of this season actually have been pretty good, and it's pretty funny that both our players, and Rudiger and Tomori, rejected the opportunity to sign for West Ham on loan. It seems like we potentially missed out on a massive loan fee, and I'd assume that it would be over 10 million based on the fact that when we sold Barkley to Aston Villa, he came with an 11 million loan fee. So, you know what, it's a small one to take, but again, I'm impressed by the confidence that Tomori's showing, and I guess by January, we'll get our final answers in regards to the future of the squads. And to end with the final story for today, that's in regards to both Emerson and Malang Sarr. Starting with Malang Sarr, he will still be joining FC Porto. You have to remember that Porto's league, their transfer window actually ends at a future period. They have plenty of time to get business done, and it seems like due to the fact that they've just sold Telles to Manchester United, they're in the market to sign a left back. Now, Matt Law did report that they held inquiries over the availability of Emerson. However, you know, due to the fact that Juventus were kind of playing hot and colds, in the end, Juventus actually falling through signing Emerson on loan due to the fact that they spent so much time signing Chiesa from Fiorentina. Now, for you guys that don't know, Douglas Costa made a return back to Bayern Munich, meaning that Juventus had the funds to sign Chiesa, which they did for 50 million. So it's understandable why there wasn't enough time to get Emerson done. However, at the same time, these Italian clubs can be so frustrating. And the fact that Juventus actually, you know, publicly saying that in January they'll come back again. I mean, listen, I understand you want a bargain, but like, just at what cost? You know, at what point? Like, doesn't it work out for your team right now to have an Emerson working with you guys instead of coming in January? And if you're Emerson too, you know, I can imagine you're frustrated because you're not going to play football much this season. You have the Euros coming in the summer, and it's become impossible to leave due to the high valuation we're placing on you. So sympathies all around you guys. I think that Emerson to Porto would not be a good move. For him, ideally, he has to go back to Serie A. Hopefully in January that happens, but right now, Lampard has 3 left backs at the club. It's actually such a crazy situation right now. And you guys, that was the News Daily video. Again, it was a pretty interesting deadline day. A ton of things happened, a ton of business happened. We made some decent money too, and I think some decent loan moves. I guess to give my closing thoughts, please, Fulham, I've seen that you've called Loftus a world-class player. You know the quality and the talent you have at your disposal, but please, Scott Parker, I'm begging you, man, please. I don't want to see Ruben down the left wing, the right wing, up front or number 10. He has to be plain and simply box to box. All right, box to box mid. Please let this brother ball out. He's suffered too long. Let him ball out in his best position, please. You guys, I'm gonna wrap things up.